Welcome to SHOWstudio. SHOWstudio is a space for discussion and debate in the industry. We are here discussing Milan Fashion Week and Moncler Genius. Welcome. I'm Leanne Elliott Young, co-founder of Communiste, and my sensational guest that we have here today. Hi.
Hi, my name is Aweng. I'm a fashion model.
My name is Shaquille. I'm a fine artist.
My name is Jeremy Della. I'm also a fine artist.
My name is Willy Ndatira. I'm a creative consultant and writer.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. So we've already been catching up on what happened last night.
Chit-chatting.
There's a lot. So we've got 8 in the Moncler projects, and then on a side note, the Rick Owens.
Yeah, which is what we're just talking about.
Non-genius, but happened at the same moment. So looking over what happened last night, it was very much it was very explosive.
It was a lot.
There was a lot going on, looking through everyone's Instagram stories and all of the live. So back in 2003, Moncler was in bankruptcy, it was taken on, and now it turns over 1.5 billion annually. So there's something genius going on there. So we just wanted to talk about what happened last night, really. So JW said to Vogue that it feels a bit like Glastonbury. Interesting.
That's an interesting comparison.
So I was like, is this kind of experience during a very prestigious Milan Fashion Week? Is this experience? Is it a bit?
It's a bit too much.
Yeah, is it a bit Disneyland? Is it like the Art Basel Miami of the art world? And then how does it sit in the fashion landscape? And also, how do we feel the fact that within these 8 projects, that there's not much of a note on sustainability, and this big public forum, there's a hell of a lot of reach, a lot of impact, social impact. There was no conversation on sustainability, so yeah. What do we all think, first off?
Has anyone done something like this before? That's my question.
Has anyone done something like this before?
Well, I think
it does itself all the time, regularly. I feel like Moncler, there's no other brand that really does what it does. If that makes sense. Each season or each collection, each collaboration, it's all, you can tell what's a Moncler piece, you know? Yeah. That's how I see the Valentino collection. When I saw the collection last night, I didn't even have to see the name. I'm like, that's a Moncler piece, you know? Yeah,
so the idea is that instead of having a creative director for the brand,
there's a based already foundation. You just have to go based on what's already there, you know?
So they choose 8 individuals, creatives, to collaborate with.
But I mean, this sort of installation art.
Yeah,
I'm sure this has been done before in fashion, hasn't it?
Well, not on this scale. Moncler is someone called it a theme park.
Yeah.
What is going on? So they do, it's 8 designers, and each one has kind of his section.
Yeah.
Nobody does it on this scale.
Right. But it's
to say fashion installation, yes, they do happen.
Yeah.
If you go to PT Uomo, that kind of thing, you'll find.
The thing about Moncler collaborations is that they don't, it's not from scratch. You have a base and you just add on your creativity. They already have a DNA, so that from there you just add on your little touch. It's never really this is a scratch from surface collaboration. This is just, you add on your genius from the outside into our collection.
Yeah, so you have the base, Moncler, that is strong DNA, and the foundation is the jacket, the down jacket, and then you collaborate with that.
Yeah.
I do think the fact of, obviously, collaboration happens a lot in fashion and the art landscapes, but to hand over
creative control to 8 different people.
But do they get sold, really? Do people buy them, or is it just
fashion people do?
I think it's in a fashion show, normally you have the pieces that draw the attention, the press gathered moments, which effectively is this spectacular. And then it kind of whittles down to the accessories, the basics that then do get sold, that are obtainable kind of.
I went yesterday because I was in Milan, and I had afternoon off, and I went to have a look at their space, which is the Moncler Genius space, and they've got 3 of them in the world. I think there's one in Paris, Tokyo, and the one in Milan. And spoke to the people on the floor selling it, who buys it.
Yeah.
Actually, they do. They do put in those collections in certain stores. You can find them at Selfridges in London, that kind of thing.
The other day they were in Selfridges.
In certain specific store. And then the Moncler Genius space, it's amazing, because I've asked who's the customer, and they said, it goes from internationals, people from Asia, love the style. I mean,
think
it's
they
a
have a
way of
time.
standing out, staying warm and standing out. It's kind of like, because he's been copied by Uniqlo, he's been copied by a lot of people doing puffer jackets. So you can get a really cheap puffer jacket. Why would you spend that much money, first of all? And then, you know, how do you stand out while wearing a puffer jacket? Like the whole idea of wearing downs. But people do buy it. And the Valentino one, this is a funny story with Pierpaolo Piccioli. The Valentino one, they did these huge ball gowns last season.
Like puffed ball gowns.
Yeah, like puffed ball gowns.
It was.
And they had 3 in a window, 2 were sold, and 1 woman bought it for her wedding to wear it. And she had a wedding on a ski resort. So people do actually buy
and I
that.
think
Because
it
I had the
keeps
same
you warm.
question. I was like,
It keeps you warm. That's
buys
how
it?
I see it. Look at that.
And I think
someone
also
bought that for their wedding.
I would wear that to like some, you know, I think a Halloween party I would wear it to. I wouldn't exactly wear that to my wedding, I'm sorry, but like I get the whole concept, like it's to stay warm.
She was on a mountaintop. She did it.
I mean, if you're going to that
Yeah,
mountaintops,
yeah.
you
She
deserve
did
to
it
wear
in
something
a
like that, you
cold
know?
place.
And I think that because it is outerwear, like you can have a statement with the outerwear, and then you can kind of like,
But if you also want to be ridiculous in the middle of Paris, you can wear that.
yeah.
Yeah, just go to the Eiffel Tower with that on you. But yeah.
But the CEO was saying that his whole idea was to take outerwear into the city and do something different with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, take it out of the context of sportswear, outerwear, people skiing, because people have been buying these jackets since the 1950s for skiing. And he wanted to turn them into items that you could wear in maybe in the city or somewhere else. So it was a way of like moving them from a different context.
And the 1952 range, that's very much as the men and women section of that. That's very much kind of more pragmatic, should we say? It's kind of got more of a, it's less of statement pieces. And I think the concept of handing over your brand to 8 different
CEOs
brands
who own their own brands too on top of that.
And then the route of club being able to reach a broader demographic, so you can push your narratives further.
Yeah.
So you can communicate with your customer.
I feel like they've accomplished their vision. They're just now trying to just like plant seeds with other people who have the same vision line, I guess I would say. But I also feel like the brand has like slowly started being more fluid when it comes to gender too. I don't think it's more like a gender neutral brand. I feel like anyone could wear their clothing without having to feel trapped in one identity. Is what I realized too with the collection. But yeah.
Should we have a look? It's because but prior to the show and presentations and the opening of this, they had on their social media, they had these small idents which kind of introduced the project. If you go into stories, also highlights, if you go to Genius 20, yeah, that's it. So this is the introduction of the brand. So it was very much as a really long, low build-up, much anticipated. Everything was shown in
Animation.
yeah, and then as we go through, they were kind of in these cartons, these boxes, ready to open. So there's really strong and concise journey into this big, explosive moment. But do we think I mean, I don't want to just bang on about sustainability, but we are in a climate crisis, and we're in this really bizarre time of social, political, tightness and conversations, and then this amount of money and spectacular. And the CEO in an interview was saying, we just want to be bigger, and we want it to be more about experience. I think that there's some. Like, what do we think about that? I was really surprised that there wasn't more technology involved.
Yeah, I feel like
as
fashion.
in digitally rendered, so there's not as much physical experience.
Exactly. I feel
Also, puffer jackets, we're going to need them less and less, aren't we, as the planet warms up?
Absolutely, yeah.
the planet is heating up.
So it's kind of a redundant item of clothing for a lot of people.
But for now, they are doing their job.
I mean, aren't we having like sort of extreme weather patterns?
Yeah. I mean, it's freezing.
Super cold and then extremely cold or extremely warm.
Hot. There's no between.
Extremely
So it
hot.
needs to be modular.
So that for me, what I was thinking, Jeremy, is that it's so weird, but it's a way of saying with global warming in a very shallow fashion way. With global warming, extreme weather patterns, fashion is not dead. If you can create these kind of things around a puffer jacket, then you sort of can keep going. I mean, there's one, if you scroll up I don't know, scrolling. The red set design.
Yeah.
No, it's not that one. I think you've got to scroll down. Sorry. That one. It's sort of like scorched earth. Kind of very apocalyptic. I don't know who the designer was. I couldn't figure it out. That's
Oh, so the 1952. There's two. There's male and female.
Right.
Here we go. I got a little note here. There we go. And so everyone gave a statement prior.
Yeah.
So women is Veronica Leone.
Yeah.
And for the men's collection is Sergio Zambon. So Veronica said this is a statement that she's imagine an army of women on a quest for the lost paradise. I looked at the exoticism of the beginning of the XX journey, interpreted it into a modern, intensely functional way. It's all about femininity and elegance, twisted with a practical angle. And she's particularly proud of the collaboration with the gender equality group Girl Up.
Girl Up.
So they also inhabited that slogan, It's Her Right.
Okay.
I think
that was great. I mean, she designed some amazing things.
Yeah, she did
for me,
really good.
It was kind of like, if we have extreme weather pattern, we can still have great fashion around it. The world is about to end, but we're gonna look good. We're gonna look good.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that they can kind of do that much with
something so
technical.
Yes, restricting in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to conversation with like sustainability, fashion is always wanting to do bigger. That's not something that's identified with just Moncler. Every fashion house wants to do bigger, and that's just how it's always been and how it's always almost going to be. As much as we like to approach the whole conversation, like let's be sustainable, let's think about, let's not use physical things anymore. Everyone loves the touch of people being in the room, or people seeing what they, the creative power of their money or their geniusness,
And it did seem quite open, the event.
Yeah.
I think there was lots of people.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a fashion show with front row, second row. It was an experience.
And then it's an open exhibition for the general public to kind of have a look at.
On the 24th, yeah. So you can see it on the 24th.
In Milan.
In Milan, yeah. So it felt,
Monday.
it's a bit like the biennial, all these little kind of moments responding to a theme.
I think
it has an art feel to it. It definitely looks like some like the Turbine Hall or something like that.
Yeah.
And even some of the rooms look like artists. They look like they've been looking at artists, contemporary artists.
No, definitely.
Vanessa Beecroft we collaborated on the last presentation.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So, you should be next, Jeremy. Little Mimo.
Put in a little request.
I don't know. But some of them look like a rave as well. Some of the rooms, to me, look like with the lasers and that. So.
Yeah, so these were all kind of active and inflated. These were
inflated walls almost. I think so. I feel it was a very interactive presentation compared to most presentations. So maybe that was their plan, to kind of make it over interactive because of the amount of collaborations that were in the room. So.
Yeah, no, they were saying the statement is for them.
Oh, that's like that.
It's cool.
That's quite cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's something you see off a sci-fi movie before everything goes wrong.
There was definitely a post-apocalyptic.
There was a very
feel of like
apocalyptic
something there's something going on around us, but we're all trapped in this one state mind.
Because they look kind of like migrating one another, like they're kind of wrapping around these, or trying to circumnavigate these gigantic phallic tree inflatables that are in this space.
I wonder what was the direction to the models. I just don't bump into each other.
Just
don't bump into each other.
Go, but don't,
So Shaq, if you were to say if you were on PAQ and you're like, right, okay, what would be if you were to look at this show, what were the key things you'd pull out?
What do you mean, like items?
Looks.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of J.W. Anderson.
Yeah.
Love JW.
It'd probably be something from J.W. Anderson.
Do you think you could recreate this? Because that's part of the
challenge.
Yeah,
definitely.
Diversifying and creating a democracy.
We definitely find like a sustainable way of doing it as well, because that's like what we always try to put across. But at the same time, a lot of these things are very difficult and very technical, and generally cost a lot more. I get why sometimes it gets a bit techie for certain brands as well, because it's a lot of money to be sustainable. Do you know what I mean? And because it's something so new,
There's not many things out there for it.
No, there's not. But I feel like if we keep pushing, you know, I feel like eventually sustainability would be like a norm. Like I feel like right now sustainability is something that you talk about, kind of like veganism. Oh
Yeah.
my God, you're vegan. That's great. And it's kind of like, you know, everyone's making a big deal about it. And it's like,
There's
dude,
an
I just,
uprise of like
yeah.
excitement.
So I think,
and
there's,
whatever,
I think there's
like-
something around like obviously like sustainability has to be part of the new narrative of
Yeah.
consumption, and there's so much waste. We were talking earlier, Jeremy, about the amount of waste, you know, as in single use plastic, single use clothes that are kind of abandoned in other countries to deal with. And I do think there's something around like the semiotics of purchase, like how can you challenge the idea of purchase? Like, is it that in the future there's no more
There's rules to wear.
There's no more clothes being made, but instead you collaborate with said Moncler house and you can download a pattern and have your clothes and you rework them, things like that. Like what?
nice.
I just think that it could be. I think the next iteration of Moncler would be super interesting to think about what the actual root of collaboration, what that means, and bring that in turn to the consumer, bespoke. And I think that's the space of sustainability is there's lots of like room for collaborations and
Improvements, take-ins
with
and
the
take-outs.
people who are, instead of just purchasing, you can collaborate with the designer. I think that's what's super interesting about it, and new materials as well.
Yeah.
You went to the Fashion Awards. You were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
The first 15, 20 minutes of those awards was all about sustainability and all these sort of special awards they were giving
That's
each other.
almost every.
Yeah.
They were so on it, weren't they? Or they seemed to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's lots of greenwashing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like every
Yeah.
fashion room you walk into now in the industry, the first thing you hear is sustainability.
Yeah.
You know, like I was at a shoot and the first thing I walked into was a conversation with a stylist and a photographer about sustainability. Like it's something that's happening so normally and like at a huge pace in the fashion industry. So
I think it's kind of good because like
It's a great thing.
Fashion's like the biggest. I think it's like the biggest carbon footprint.
yeah, it is.
It's the second.
I think the second biggest
What's the
after
first?
Oil.
after oil. Oof.
Yeah.
But then actually,
second
yeah.
biggest.
And
But we also have the most like outreach in the sense of like we're all over social media, we're all over like face to face, we're all over like there's so many connects that fashion has to that real world, you know.
Well, I don't know. This conversation with sustainability. I mean, I fully agree with what everybody said, but fashion, yes, they talk about it. There's the greenwashing, but as long as countries and governments don't turn it into law
it's the legislation that's
and
needed,
legislation, I don't think that companies are going to make that much of an effort.
But as a consumer, because people are asking questions and the power is in your purchase.
Yeah, no, obviously.
That's what's happening, yeah, which
And
is
a
why
lot
the
of consumers-
greenwashing now, like the H&M collaboration that was like, oh God, like, you know, it was literally just a big, you know, PR message. But, yeah. So I feel like there's the
It's like a
legislation.
tug of war though.
Yeah, exactly, like a tug
If the
of war.
consumer, I feel like the consumer could play the legislation in a way if a big number say no to, you know, against sustainability, then, you know.
Because if we just look at the power of if we go, like Will Smith was like the opener. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a kind of like unusual, not unusual, but
It's not unusual because I feel
But
like a
it's
lot of
such-
celebrities are, you
Yeah.
know, becoming faces of, that helps with their brand and their branding and marketing to have someone as a big and a huge genius as Will Smith. Everyone knows Will Smith. If you're 5, if you're 55, you know who he is. So I
yeah.
feel like
So he's like that one person that
it
feeds
is the one person
all of
that
those
feeds,
demographics.
yeah. So those 8 designers,
He's
clean.
Yeah.
He's not a hashtag.
those 8
He's a
designers.
positive hashtag.
I
He's
feel
the
like
Tom Hanks of black actors.
Yeah.
He's like, he's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, I feel like Will Smith is someone you can't go wrong with.
know.
He hasn't been in like
as we
any
know.
messes. He hasn't been in any like, you know, political situations that have kind of, you know, cancelled him in a way. So I get why they would
So I
do
was
that.
watching the stories, and obviously normally when you're kind of feasting on what's going on, it's normally quite, you know, like smooth and safe. You have your rows, and everyone's there, and there's the catwalk,
And
or even a
it's over in 10
presentation.
minutes.
People don't generally want to kind of like walk and interrupt the light in the mood. And it was like Will Smith in this like silver room, just like screaming, and then the rest of the celebrities come. It just felt like it's such a different energy to what usually occurs in the industry.
But that was purposely done, I'm pretty sure, to kind of like get us to talk about it, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, apparently, the whole idea is the fact that they're challenging the format of presenting fashion and presenting
Yes,
shows. And,
yeah.
you know, how clothing is
Advertised and
advertised
marketed.
and marketed.
I feel like they're like one of the probably the biggest brand that's actually really ahead when it comes to attractiveness and when it comes to like social media. They really know how to like sell their products. Even if you don't want to buy it, you see it and you just love the idea that these people use almost futuristic things to create their ads. You want to buy it just for the sake of it, which is a really good consumer, targeting. I guess
And as you were saying, like in the store, so you've got this perfect unison between IRL and URL. It kind of works together.
Yeah.
Like this is open to the public, so everyone can go and see the space that's normally quite coveted.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of democratic lens to it in a way.
And I feel like Moncler doesn't make themselves like almost too exclusive from the outside, from like the outside of the general public.
Should we look at the Shimon Rocha? Because
How much are these jackets?
I was going to say, because Aweng is saying it's quite democratic, but the one thing is the price point is
exclusive.
it's quite high. Not cheap jackets.
What's interesting is what's the smallest piece of item that you can buy for the
Price of that.
the price, the entry point? Because I bet that will have definitely some kind of like.
Exclusive.
I mean, I looked at the t-shirts, the Palm Angel t-shirts, and they were going for like 300 euros or something, and that's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So it is a luxury brand.
Yeah.
It is a luxury brand. They're not.
And it's a
the puffer
house too.
jackets are
It's
like,
under a house, so I just feel like that kind of adds on the price tag. They want to keep that level of the caliber that we are. You know, we do deserve to have this price tag on our products because we've worked for it or something like that. You know.
And it's a status symbol.
Yeah.
It is a status
Symbol of status.
Yeah. I think
Simone Rocha.
the scrolling is on the wrong Simone Rocha. That's not the. Is that the new collection?
Wow.
Is it?
Oh no, was it? Oh yeah, it is. Oh,
there we go.
that's the lookbook. Because I looked at the
Actual show.
runway.
display when they
Yeah.
had it on mannequins on a red background. Oh, okay.
Simone Rocha is pretty good.
Yeah.
Really good, actually. I love that look.
It's very regal. Ooh, that red one's
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
That's very carry.
cold.
film.
Quite Lee Bowery, isn't it, some of it?
Oh, Richard Quinn is even more Lee Bowery, but maybe not in this one. But
Funny,
Oh
isn't
yeah,
it?
let's have a look at Richard Quinn.
The genius of genius.
Oh, here we go. Then we go to Craig.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craig Green is great. It's like those deep sea creatures.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Just have a look.
all them.
Richard Quinn always knows what he's
Jellyfish.
doing. That's what I gotta say.
So-
I love that blue look over the bottom one.
Yeah, Richard Quinn is great. He was explaining that his process, I could be wrong, is the fact that he just takes what he designs for his own brand and kind of
then-
applies it to
Yeah,
That's what. I feel like that's the foundation of Moncler is to bring in what you do outside into the brand. I think that's basically the blueprint of it all. It's just we're not trying to start a whole scratch collaboration. We just want to see your vision that you use for your own brand.
almost transferable.
Yeah,
So you
that's-
said I wanted to create a 60s meets space age dynamic transition to the past into the future with his signature prints that match and clash with strong headpieces for a vibrant and total luxe ideal.
It was called the Bold Lux.
Yeah.
It looks like the Bold Lux.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
very Valentino collaboration too. You see that, like the
Yeah.
big puffed dress. The big, like, it has his prints on it. It has
And that
his
fishtail.
color and his touch. I would wear that to my wedding. That one over there.
yeah.
I want the fingers.
Are these from last night? Because they
yeah.
were not online.
I haven't seen the later ones. I've only seen the.
It's
I think there's a
beautiful.
presentation. The other ones were catwalk.
That's beautiful.
Right, I only saw the catwalk ones. These are great.
That is great. And they're all made out of the same material as a puffer jacket. That's crazy. But now, what's the price tag of this one?
Yeah. But I always think of it as like sort of haute couture for contemporary wear, because I don't want to call it streetwear. More like for the young new designers, or maybe we can call it streetwear in a positive way. It kind of like, it's almost like the haute couture section, whatever they do for Moncler. They get to sort of experiment and work with materials they normally
They get full creative control.
with, and it's really great.
I love.
bag.
Yeah, I would buy that bag.
Yeah.
And there's also three other projects that went alongside the designers. So there's the doggy wear,
the dog.
Yes, there was a dog
And then
parlor.
Ramoa did a collaborate. That's the one that Edward posted, the one with the dogs. And I thought it was like his dog was getting pampered or something. Then I saw it was like the show.
So
It looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the presentation was great. I don't know if there's a picture of it where it was kind of like a dog parlor where they were trimming hair and
grooming,
everything
like
else,
a
grooming hair.
futuristic
They
grooming.
were wearing spacesuits.
See, they're very
at the same
futuristic.
time.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
agree
their
with
little touch is that they make taking a dog into the future.
That's
It's like almost.
weird.
It's all, I was thinking there is quite dystopian.
There you go with the helmet. Sorry, scroll back down.
Here
There you
with the
go,
helmet.
because that was part of like the dog grooming. The
Yeah.
dog grooming people were actually wearing those helmets and a silver.
So I think this like dystopian narrative, the fact that I mean, perhaps I've just got that sensibility to go into that space, but I was thinking that is this a future concept where, you know, we have barren wombs and the dogs are servicing our maternal needs.
Or we all live on, or some people live on Mars and others
Absolutely.
get to live
People
on
live on Mars.
Earth.
Yeah.
Which is just,
We've abandoned Earth.
which is, yes.
Yeah.
So the super rich live on Mars wearing these clothes.
Yeah. And they have the dogs because also they have barren wombs, because we can't procreate any longer.
Ooh.
That was just my,
Just a
this is my
thought.
casual
She's like,
that's my
just,
casual little
I was like, whoa, that's a
I had
lot.
the same feel as you. I really thought this
I get
was
it.
quite sort of interesting, a look into the future.
It's a scary interesting.
This is a
Samurai are
possibility.
amazing.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
possibility. These Craig Green ones were great. They made me think of Lucy Ota, the artist that does tents that you can wear. And she's a British artist.
Just-
Proper like a samurai, innit?
Yeah, it really is.
How he thinks about like the ergonomics and anthropometrics of the material and the body and how it's this protective but fragile layer. There's so, I mean, we could go for an hour or so just on these. And I think like I definitely want to touch them. What you were saying about this kind of being in real life and being able to go and see them, and this presentation was much more open. People walking alongside the models. I think that's a step into what needed in this like coveted industry, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is that like a really big deal? Has it never been done before?
Normally,
Normally you
Rose.
Well, I've been to
Yeah,
fashion
and then-
shows, but is it really the first
presentations have been done, but presentations usually you can't touch the outfit on the
one?
model.
It's very, very behind the times when you think of all the other experiences that
it's
art
a big
gives you.
archaic beast.
It really
the
is.
fashion industry,
Yeah,
yeah.
very
like
conservative.
It's like like the Titanic heading to the iceberg, and we've just gone, oh, we're doing a really slow turn.
Theatre has been doing this for years, and contemporary art.
Yeah.
Fashion is kind of
Weird.
late sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
We're ahead in most places, but when it comes to like, you know, interactiveness, we're pretty behind.
And I think
It's also why it's so behind is it was generally the shows were done for a segment of of the industry, which is, you know, media, the buyers, and
The heads of the industries.
Celebs.
and celebrities came later because, you know, the media was there and it kind of advertises the show. But now with Instagram, it's changing things with, you know, the
Facebook,
public gaining
Twitter.
access straight away to what's going on. It might change the formula of how
Yeah.
people present clothing. And
Because
the
as
way they
well,
present it.
the other thing to note is there's been a mass confusion over the last year or 2 years because the consumer is like they see it on Instagram and they want to purchase it, but they're like, no, hold on. We're a season. It doesn't come out till 6 months into the stores because normally the publications would then create fantasy scenarios to make us want to understand and navigate and be a part of the journey that the brand is delivering to us, and then we go to the stores to get it. So it's this kind of like mass confusion, which I mean, I think that's why things have been slower as well.
But this is the fantasy scenario.
Yeah, this feels.
And I mean, these are also the Moncler Genius. You would say it's the haute couture of the ready to wear because
Yes,
you have the
yeah.
basic jacket that you buy to go ski or to wear in New York City. Sells quite well as well. The
The
everyday
collaboration
type of
did really
jacket.
good.
Yeah.
Can we see the Ramoa one? The one with the bags?
So interesting. There's this big statement about Ramoa. I can't. There's a bit
Ramoa.
Ramoa. And on this. Then this is Mate Bike,
Yes.
Copenhagen.
Right. okay.
Designer.
Yeah, it's this bicycle company talking around sustainability. But I still. Someone help me out here.
It's a new brand, that's 2016.
But what?
What's going on?
Yeah. It's wrapped around on a tree.
It's like a body skeletal. That's what I'm seeing, like a skeleton here. That's what I'm seeing. A lot of like missing
So I
colors.
couldn't see anyone not actually on on them.
I would buy one,
What, on
personally.
these bikes?
I would buy for the aesthetics. I don't know if I would actually ever use it, but I'd definitely like have it.
So they designed the bike for
So the brand is a bike company.
Bike.
their bike company. So they designed the bike and designed
And the
an
Moncler.
accessory of some sort.
Yeah, I don't
That's why there was like something wrapped around.
Was there an accessory?
Yeah, there was.
I've only seen that tree. I mean, I can get.
Zoom out, you see where the hand. I mean, I don't know what that section
Apparently
is
it's supposed to
between where it's branded.
At the bottom, is that a
Is it just a jacket?
France
It's a puffer jacket for your bicycle.
It's a puffer jacket for
Exactly,
your
it keeps your
bicycle.
bike-
Thank
yes,
God you're
keeps your
here,
bike
Jeremy.
warm.
Oh my
God,
God.
Yeah, it keeps your bike
obvious.
warm.
It keeps your bike
In case your
warm.
bike
Is
is-
it like humanizing a bike though?
Yeah.
Is that humanizing a bike? No.
I
It's,
think they designed the
it's-
bike for them.
They're electric as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I suppose that,
So
yeah.
you don't even have to pedal,
You
really.
didn't have to pedal, no.
Sweat or anything.
So this, interestingly, is there was a statement on the future of technology
Yeah.
and the fact that we're always communicating. So this collaboration works with an app, and you can put on it a message to everyone. I mean, these are the kind of like fashion editors, and like they're also in the art world. That these are like the swanky accessory to have at the airport. So they're quite. But
I love them more.
actually, you cannot. This is a prototype, and it doesn't exist.
What?
If you saw someone with that, what would you really think at an airport? I don't
You
know
are
if you
quick.
would.
With the, it depends what was on it. If it was their phone number, I'd be, hey.
It's
I
definitely
mean,
like
it's an easy way to approach like
the way they deal with your
communication.
luggage and stuff in the airport, that bag is gonna break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
light
a
is.
grinder handle, like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
It doesn't
what they are.
exist though.
It may be that.
So it's actually, after
Cool
all of
concept,
it's
though.
actually just a
After all of this.
prototype, and it's a comment. So it's actually
A comment
a
on what,
comment
though?
on the digital and technological landscapes we're in, that we're always communicating, we're constantly on.
We always want to communicate
Yeah.
or be communicated to.
But you can buy a silver one with a nice lining.
I,
Moncler's designed. So I was really let down because I just thought it'd be great. Oh, good. I wonder what. Just thinking of like when you get the extra panic of going to the airport. What am I going to put on my digital display?
yeah. I mean, we're living in a panic society already, so let's just add more to it.
Don't forget your passport.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I feel like it could make like your to-do list a little easier, like before when you get in your car and you just go to the airport, and get your bag out, and then at the back it's like your passport is in the sink. So now you left your passport in the sink.
That's it,
I feel like I mean, that's genius, but it's,
I don't know.
Sorry for your wife putting your passport in the sink, by the way.
I left my passport yesterday. I went to the airport all the way in Milan, and then I figured out that I left my passport at a fitting, and I had to go back into the city.
God.
So
If
it
you
happens
would
to
have
me.
had
So if I had one of
places-
those already, it would have said you left your passport at a fitting. So, or your passport's on the desk. This is amazing. This is very Rick Owens, though.
Yeah, that's Ali.
Who designed this? Who's
Matthew Williams.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very dark.
Yeah.
Shooter is
The
aesthetic.
hair
though,
does. It's true that the hair looks like Rick Owens.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the same kind of.
So his collection wasn't really a collection, and it was just a big. I would buy the bus, to be honest.
Oh yeah. So the Rick Owens was
Yeah.
not part of the Genius collection. It was a moment that occurred, and there is a
A spasm moment situation.
yeah.
It's crazy.
But apparently Matthew Williams sells very well.
Yeah.
100%. That's probably
yeah.
like one of
As
the.
in
best-selling, like-
the collaboration with Moncler.
Oh yeah, bro. The puffer jackets with the Elite's roller coaster belt around the neck, everywhere. Especially when like
In
you see, like,
LA, in
celebrities
New York,
like Travis
yeah.
Scott,
Lucas Sabat.
Drake. I mean, everyone's like
But
messing.
Moncler is very like those type of celebrities kind of brand, like the street people you see, but you might see on a show or like an appearance at a, I guess you would say at a concert. That's what they would wear.
Yeah.
The first time I've ever seen a Moncler puffer jacket was when Lucas Sabat posted this huge photo on Instagram that went like viral everywhere, and everyone wanted that jacket, and that was just like.
Printer.
Yeah. So this was part of the presentation. It's I don't know, was it like a lateral printer? No, they've just turned it. They've just picked it up, haven't they? It's just a print bed, I think, a laser print bed, but they've just stood it up.
Wow.
What is it doing?
I know, I was trying to think, I was like, wow, how did they? I've just worked it out, that's what it is.
I'm a genius.
Live.
But isn't it just like that's what a flatbed printer would do anyway? It is, but they've stood it up.
But it's a company that makes them so they sell them on. You can buy them for your wall.
Oh, you can buy them for your wall. Oh my goodness. So What do you take it? What happens once it's complete, though?
It just stops.
So you're paying for the process of... You're
What?
paying to watch the process.
I guess.
Wow.
But you actually keep the actual equipment.
Yeah.
Then you're paying for the actual equipment
Yeah.
too. 'Cause then you can do multiple printings, I guess. I like the collaboration.
Yeah, I
I think
like
the collaborations were really good.
Yeah, that was great. The perfume.
They had a really good collaborations for this
Alex
season.
one, yeah.
That's a really good puffer.
But you know what? For me as well, what I realized is, and I've kind of been 2 seasons into buying puffer jackets for winter, as opposed to buying like a leather jacket or a wool coat, that sort of thing. And it's true that if you want to stand out, you need someone who has kind of fought through the cat. So I bought one from Martine Rose, which is like quite big.
Which one?
It was with Ndatira.
Oh my God, yeah.
Collaboration.
There's so many good ones in there, yeah.
And this season, it's Random Identities from Stefano Pilati. And it's true, and he cuts it like you look like a rugby player kind of thing. It's really, an American football player.
Yeah.
And it's true that it does make a difference in comparison to your run-of-the-mill Uniqlo jacket, where you have hundreds of them on one street. Like you go on Oxford Street and everybody, London is not so bad. Like Switzerland, I often go there,
Yeah,
like
and the
they're all
Dutch.
wearing...
Love them, the
It's
Netherlands,
like, God, it's like they all look like clones. So I can understand that you would, if you're into puffers, like this is a good place if you've got the money to sort of get something that's different to everybody else.
Has it tailored?
Aweng, do you live in New York?
I live between New York and London, yeah.
People do wear puffer jackets, like February, that
They
sort
wear
of
very,
thing.
but like I feel like when Balenciaga started releasing their puffer jackets, everyone in Soho was wearing
Marcus
a
Amida
puffer jacket.
The big rap that they did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, that was massive in New York when I was there. Everyone had that
But
one.
that's the thing about New York City, though. As soon as something like that appears, everyone wants their hands on it, and it's a very creative city. So everyone wants to, follow the trend or create the trend. So, yeah. I own a Balenciaga puffer jacket myself. When it first came out, I was like, oh, I'm the only one that sees. And then I walked, and I'm like, okay, I'm one of 1.2 million.
So this is the Rick Owens collab.
So he's selling that coat.
Yes, it's the shoes.
And the shoes.
The jacket.
I like the shoes.
Silver.
I love the shoes. The shoes are worth it. Can I see the big bus situation that everyone's talking about? Called Tuba. There's no photos of it at all.
Again, we like really post-apocalyptic.
It's super interesting. It's just him and Michelle in this as well.
As well, as the campaign,
Yeah.
The shoes
Like
are
this is a 100% brand and essence of everything collaboration.
I like the shoes. The jacket, I think there's no effort to it.
I wonder if he's going to be part of the Genius as well. Maybe he's
pretty sure it is.
He's
I'm
too
pretty sure-
established. Oh no, Pier Paolo was also.
Yeah, I think
Might
that
join.
He's not too established. I don't think
always-
anyone is really too established for a Moncler Genius collaboration, to be honest.
I just think that he never wants to be. It's always a first, or it's something that's kind of disruptive. And it seems that this one
Was
having
very
the event
disruptive.
at the same time as Genius, but being like,
That's
I'm not in the 8. I'm standing alone here.
But you can't sit in a London room with 8 people.
Yeah.
That doesn't
So
work.
he's on his side. Yeah.
Maybe he will do an official collaboration, I mean, it looks
I
like...
think there's an official collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, it's Rick Owens
But as in
online.
him joining,
Genius.
Genius and being an ongoing.
No.
That would be interesting.
I don't really feel like he'd fit in with the Genius thing, I feel like someone like Rick Owens, he's just so like, such an individual, you wouldn't really stand him next to somebody. It'd be like what you said, it'd be like Rick Owens and Moncler doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him being part of this 8 and like, not like it's like bad to share the space, but Rick Owens is Rick Owens. He just creates his,
monumental,
he creates his
Part of
own
the
world.
architecture,
Do you know what I mean?
but,
Yeah.
I feel like it's very erratic, so it's not something that's ever going to work. Because
It might be that
they will
as
set
well.
a theme. They will set a theme, and they'll be like, okay, everyone use a hue of blue, and he'll come in like red and like black, So maybe it's just not. But maybe he's doing an official collaboration with Moncler, and probably never going to do a Moncler
Do we
Genius
think?
collaboration.
Thinking of if we're talk about the future. So the future iteration of the 8. Who would you say would be up for that?
Richard. Oh wait, that's not up yet.
If we were to Blue Sky, who would be the next 8?
I think I would love to see Christopher John Rogers from New York join.
Yeah.
You see, he's new. He did a really ballroom situation during New York Fashion Week, and it was genius, to be honest, because he had gowns on gowns. So I think he would follow the Valentino collaboration, perhaps. I would love to see him.
I'd love to see Telfa.
Dema.
I've always wanted to see
Yes.
Telfa. That would be
Telfa
amazing.
would be amazing. What about
Pia Moss would be good.
Yeah, Pia Moss would be good.
Pia Moss.
Pia Moss would be really, really
I
good.
feel like Mo Lola would be pretty interesting.
Oh, Lola could be, yeah, she would be awesome.
That would be really interesting.
I was thinking bring back Christopher Shannon. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Who's the CEO of Hood by Air? Shane Oliver. Shane Oliver would be a really good. I think that would. But I don't know how he would do it. You know, I don't know how he would do it. But I would love him.
I think I'd also like to see if a collaboration like with the art world, like with the gallery or
Galleries or
100%.
something. Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
and then
needs to
something
happen.
much more digital, like something that only exists in the digital
But
space.
it would be really cool to have like students from like a fashion school actually collaborate with students from like a technology kind of school and see what they actually bring to the table, you know?
I mean, that was kind of my question yesterday when I went to see the space, and I said to the lady who worked there, I asked them, you know, do they do any collaboration with schools or younger designers?
Yeah.
You know, kind of, or even younger Italian designers. Children,
They come up with some amazing things.
They do. You know, to sort of, how do they pick the people that they collaborate with? There's a level of, I mean, he's very knowledgeable for the people that he picks, you know, like to pick someone like Simone Rocha.
Numbers,
But, you know, he could, you know, take it up a notch by getting people that are...
It could be like another camp.
And I feel like, you know, new faces in the industry of fashion, the designers specifically, they really are, I would say, more open to like conversations with the actual head of Moncler Genius. So if someone came in from an FIT graduate, and I feel like they would have more on the table than someone who's been in the industry for so long and has seen it over and over designs.
That's an interesting thing, thinking about like the route of collaboration. Does collaboration always work? Like, does it always have to be two sides with different assets? So Moncler wants to speak to multiple demographics, so it's chosen quite strategically that each of these 8 all speak to different people and different spaces. So it does collaboration. Do you always have to, obviously, and they're getting a lot from this Moncler with press, being able to kind of be in this creative like space, cash obviously as well. So do you think like when it comes to collaboration,
it has to be interchangeable?
Yeah, always, or is in collaboration, can you, for instance, if Moncler did work with a graduate, there wouldn't be a DNA of the graduate to exchange with, or a consumer or a customer base. But it would...
Maybe that'd be a good thing,
It'd be more risky maybe, but that might be a good thing.
But fashion likes risk sometimes, you know. I feel like if
Especially
it
if you're
goes
doing
well...
You can take a risk. If you're doing 8, you can take a few risks.
You can take 2 risks. That's what I thought. I thought the collection, this collaborations would be like at least 1 or 2 new faces. I thought like a P. Moss collaboration. I mean, he's huge right now. Even Christopher Rogers, he just won the funding. So it's just like, for me, it's surprising that everyone they have with this collaboration are people who are very established. You know, like J.W. Anderson. Everyone else who is. Everyone on this collaboration is people that we actually hear of, see, know, respect, and everything. So I feel like it would have been worth it to have a new face that also has the same kind of level of respect, but not maybe the same.
So I think 100% it should have some materials innovation.
And people who just do exactly.
Yeah, something that's really...
Give the geese a break, yeah?
Give the geese a break, yeah, exactly.
Bit of a holiday from being plucked or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they don't get plucked though, do they?
Oh yeah, that's what we're discussing.
They freeze dry them. I don't know.
Geese don't get...
They trim them. Just the ends,
I thought they just
There must
pick
be
up.
a different thing you could put in these jackets.
Well, exactly. It's like,
really?
what is the... Because, I mean, I think like...
How many geese are you using then?
For animal rights, and then obviously hope they're ticking all the human right boxes. But then, what is the substitute for that?
Recycled material.
Yeah, or just...
That also,
You know.
Yeah.
but that also be an interesting thing to actually also have one of these collaborations be someone whose brand is strictly sustainable, strictly vegan, strictly,
and
that would
using
actually
this
test
new material,
exactly, and that would actually test sustainability and time, because these designers are not getting a call 2 months before the before the show or the presentation. Hey, we need a collaboration or we need your pieces. They're getting called a year, probably like 6 months, 7 months in advance, and they're given a team to do this with. So I feel like the whole conversation of sustainability being complex and everything, and keeping everything really like sustainable, vegan, and all that is not hard when you have the funds. And then we'd be given the funds, and you're given the team and the time. All you need is the time, funds, and a team to be able to do it, So they could be sustainable
we're
if they
suggesting
wanted
a
to
10,
Yeah.
possibly, for next time, with sustainability, materials innovation, the art world.
I mean, at least
and
one
A wild
person.
card. A wild card.
A wild card would be really good.
Not a designer. Someone who does something else.
You got 4.
I think the dog collection was the wild card. But that's like, no.
I think the Rick Owens one.
Try harder.
I think the dog collection will go. It'll be like hotcakes. Or like when Heron Preston released his like doggy, and then was it Chewy Vuitton? Everyone's just like, oh my god.
I mean, we all have dogs, so
which
yay.
is the sad reality, but
I don't know. I think it's kind of. I personally I love dogs as much as the next person.
you want them naked, yeah.
I think it's just a bit weird. I can't even lie, bro. I'm not getting excited about getting my dog nothing, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. For me, it's
Not
just
even a Chewy Vuitton.
like, why? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. For me, I'm proper like bare like old school, innit? So for me, it's just kind of like I'm
Out
not.
of touchness, though.
It's a bit extra,
Tacky.
but it's also a bit like about social status, I think, as well. And it comes back to the sustainability thing. So like, what I was gonna say is like, I feel like when there's some kind of social status thing associated with sustainability, like, oh, if you're rich, you only afford, faux this and whatever, that's when you'll start to see more of it. And I feel like a lot of people, they tend to kind of like not put the extra effort in to make things sustainable, because everyone knows if you got like a real fur, whatever, it means you got money. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like when people start putting like the extra effort into, creating, all this sustainability, and they tie it back to like social status, it will be a lot more popular in the fashion world, because they'll realize a lot of people will start to want to,
Purchase.
yeah.
Want to be
But I feel like if there's if you put, fur and faux fur on the table and you remove fur, there's no choice but to buy faux. I feel like it's very important to kind of understand that sustainability will only exist 100% if unsustainability doesn't exist, if fur doesn't exist, if animal cruelty doesn't exist, if all these things that are not good for the environment don't exist, there's no choice but a one-way street. But now there's we're shifting in a way of let's speak about sustainability.
It falls on the consumer
and it falls on the consumer, because now you have to make a conscious decision whether you want to wear something that's sustainable or not, even though the thing that's not sustainable looks better, feels better, and it's almost seen as if you're wealthier,
Do you know what?
That's how I see it.
I feel like most consumers just don't care though at the same time. Because as we're talking now, I'm not even trying to call out everyone in this room, but everyone in this room has leather on their shoes, bro. So it's like...
Yes, I do. It's suede, yes.
Or some kind of, do you know what I mean?
Suede, yeah.
So, and this is...
like that. They're really actually toxic PU.
So...
Is it leather? Are they leather? Have they got actually painting? Okay.
So I feel like
in my self-defense, it's
there's
not
a long
mine,
way to go.
That's sustainable pig skin from Suffolk,
Fair.
from a small farm.
From a small farm.
A small farm. I don't know. I feel like
But
there's
that's the
just
whole
like a
thing,
long
though.
way to go,
But it's the thought, though. It's the thought
Yeah.
of when you're in the habit of something, of just being able to go into a store and pick and get out. You don't think about that. The same thing you're picking now is something that the whole world is telling you not to pick anymore.
That goes back to legislation, doesn't it? If there was a colour coding system like there is when you want to have, I don't know, a sweet dirty snack, it says it's like sugar and fat, and it has those.
Yeah, but
red
most people
traffic
don't.
lights.
Most people don't maybe it's the same if they have it labels as smoking kills, it's everywhere when you see it. But the thing is, most people don't. They see it and they still go on with it. So it's just a whole thing of there's no way to control the masses in a way. There's no way to control the route of sustainability. It's I don't know.
Unless you scare people, which is kind of what's going on.
But you can't
now.
put fear into people.
Yeah,
I mean, with the whole
everyone's scared,
planet. Earth is just scaring us now, so she's doing her job. That's what I would say. But Anyways, I'm really proud of the collection. I think it was a really good the collaboration is really good. I just wish that they used younger designers. I wish they thought about sustainability more. But at the end of the day, it is something that's just began and it's still continuous. So it's a thing of just everyone sitting down at the table and being able to say, for our next collection, our next collaboration, we're going to have younger people, less interactiveness or less materials that are, harmful to the environment. But that's every house that needs to sit down like that.
You know, it'd be pretty cool as well. If they did like, I don't know, the way I'm seeing it is like, if we're talking about creating something that exists in the digital world, I mean, it'd probably still require them to use, real assets and stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool though if they did like some kind of like online showcasing of all like the 8 different like collaborations in 8 different parts of the world.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean? And 8 different 8 different spots. I find that'd be really nice. Instead of having it all in one spot, it's kind of like, you put it in different parts of the world. Maybe parts of the world that each design identifies with most. Like,
Exactly.
Matthew, you do something in LA, like, you go to Italy, Paris, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Copenhagen. Yeah. Maybe.
Or it could just be, all incubated into a QR code, so that it was activated, so you actually get to. No one has to travel
That's what
anywhere.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
I thought I was thinking, like, are they going to be like almost like a projected in these different places, just like a museum or like augmented into like galleries and everything. I think it'd actually go. The name would be genius to do that. To be honest.
Yeah.
These are
Colours are amazing.
the colours are
They did really good with the collaborations.
Really
I am asking for more. I don't know, just more thought when it comes to like the collaborations.
I feel like a lot of brands can definitely take
A lot of
take
these
away,
things, yeah.
the way that they've kind of removed the whole disconnect between the audience and the clothes itself. Like we said before, like, when there's like a presentation, like a catwalk, it's very distant. Like you said, it's like a dream. It's kind of like, can't wait to get this in 6 months. But to be able to touch it, to look at it, to smell it if you want, like everything. Do you know what I mean? Try it on.
Yeah, exactly.
Ask the model, like, how do you feel in this? Do you know what I mean? Like,
There's no really, they want to make it very interactive, but then there's like a level of like this, we stop here with interactiveness, like you can't touch the product, you can't speak to the model about the product, you can't, like there's so many you cannot, and you just wait till 6 months and then you can maybe order if it's still in store. But, I don't know, let's wait till the next collection and see how that goes.
Jeremy, would you do one? Would you be one of our 10?
I would.
I do like puffer jackets. I'd make it for myself, I think.
I like it. I wish there was more art to it in the sense of design.
100%.
I would definitely put a lot of like color to the puffers. I would put like designs, I'd put hair, I'd put faces, I'd put quotes. I feel like the designs...
You're pitching to do it.
Yeah, this is it. You heard it here first.
I feel like I would really...
Everyone's live pitch.
I would really love for them to just add more color, because what I see with puffer jackets, they're always colors, like either a black and the actual main...
There's a lot of colour here, look.
Yes, that's a good
Looks
book.
like someone's vomited colour all over this one.
Yeah, but you see, that's very like a toot in your face. I feel like if there was thought in the sense of like the art direction of it all.
Like an ombre, a rainbow or something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wear a rainbow personally. Like there, the yellow one right there, something like that. But put a face, put something, put the Eiffel Tower if you want to. I don't know, I just feel like it needs more clockwork, if that makes sense. But,
Oh, look, bust out. Oh, yeah, brilliant, that one. Oh.
yeah.
Pixel one.
Well, but my final note is like, also it's really overwhelming the amount of collections like at the same time, which
Yeah.
it's great that they're collaborating with 8 to I think
10,
12 or
yeah.
10
Yeah.
creatives, but it could be a lot to take in. Like
It's a lot to swallow because now...
to appreciate
Yeah,
every
yeah.
single one of them, because they're really great. Every single one of them, if you look them.
And they have their own, niches.
So perhaps like stagger it somehow.
No, but fashion
There's
is...
something very, maybe a wrong analogy, but there's something really greedy about the size of all of this, or very bulimic. It's sort of like...
Wouldn't you say
all the show notes, I was going through them, it's a lot.
It's exhausting.
It's quite breathless, this press release. I mean, it really is hyperbole. It's just
Maybe they did that
amazing.
purposely, though, because sometimes when you're overwhelmed or when you're exhausted by something, you just want to get it all and get it over with, Like, that's something that I do. When I get really tired and I'm at a store and I'm at checkout and I check out to see what I really, really want. When I'm too tired, I'm like, just tap it all, Because
I love it. That's basically they've witnessed you shopping, and they're like, right, do it all at once.
Like we saw Aweng in Selfridges.
Exhaustion.
It's something, I feel like Moncler really have not failed when it comes to marketing and really attracting their consumers, like their targeted consumers. Like for me personally, if I didn't see this collection today, I wouldn't think, oh my God, let me go to Milan and actually see the collection. But now when the collection does come out, I'm pretty sure I'm going to sit down and really go through them individually and see if there's a piece or two that I really, really want, you know? Yeah. It's a way of how to keep Moncler in your mind for the next 6 months, you know? Like, the collection doesn't come out for another, 5 to 6 months, and I know it's not gonna get out of my mind because the way it's just in your face is just so like abrupt, it's so erratic, it's so, we have 8 people, 8 designers, 8, like it's just like a lot of just like light, it's like gaslight almost. But I respect their marketing team. Congrats, Moncler Genius.
No, it's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
It's probably the kind of business model of the future for,
and it's
for major brands.
Yeah.
Because brands at the end of the day, it's a shrine to an idea. Like Louis Vuitton is a suitcase. The puffer jacket.
Yeah.
And then you need the creative to kind of create around that.
I feel like Moncler has...
And he gets, 8 to 12 people to
reinterpret.
I feel like last
every
night...
season.
Yeah.
That's probably... And they don't have to sort of be the permanent head designer.
Yeah.
He has like 8 head designers.
I feel like...
I think he said it himself.
They've said, I feel like Moncler...
Doesn't want to hire one designer to kind of create the collections.
Because that becomes very exhausting because then the designer really does get tired of it. And you see it slowly when it goes to the 23rd or 24th look, you can see this design slowly just like spiral like out. Like I have no motivation no more. But I feel like that last night Moncler did set a ground blueprint onto how houses will now navigate through the industry when it comes to like collaborations. Instead of doing one-offs, just do 8-offs, and then every year, once a year, maybe just do 8-offs. And I respect that though, because it gives the consumer options, it gives the sales teams options, it gives the fashion industry really many options for the next 2 seasons or so. But I think
that's a perfect little roundup.
I'm happy with the collections. J.W. Anderson was a really great collection.
Yeah, J.W. Anderson was great.
Oh yeah, we did. Well, there it is. So I think we're going to thank our panellists for that energetic conversation.
Thank you.
And make sure you visit us on YouTube. Thank you for joining.
Bye.